What's going on, y'all? It's Jason Reviews here, back at it again with another video. As you guys can see, a little bit of almost like an ambiguous area in a sense. I did just complete my move. Moved out from the old apartment into a home. Very excited about it. Thus the delay, in videos and stuff like that. This also won't be the permanent setup. I got the shadow over here and all that. It's kind of a mess. But just while there's boxes and all that everywhere, I wanted to find a place to set up and just shoot a video. Throw you guys some content, I don't want to going through all this, setting it all up. I didn't want to take a week off. Really didn't even want to take this many days off. But we are back, and as you can see by the title, I am doing the top 5 Summer Madness main events. Now, this is kind of a funny one to come back to. It might seem a little out of nowhere, but with the talk around Av and Rock and their main event, really the way it's been promoted, kind of don't like it in a couple aspects. I love the battle, but I feel like there's almost been a little bit of a lack of pride in the main eventing part. I see Av talking about he doesn't like the main event, he doesn't like to go last, which I understand that from a logistical standpoint. You're going to be better off, the earlier you go, better crowd energy, kind of easier crowd energy to control, get to chill out for the rest of the night. You don't got to worry about it till the very end of the night when your battle's coming on, especially with that much pressure. And then the face-off, that they said almost kind of that it already wasn't that good, and then not to watch it. And it disappointed me a little bit. I feel like there's more seizing of the moment, more pride in being that SM main event. And the result of the battle could speak for itself no matter what. But, just the promo phase, a couple things I didn't like. And it made me think about SM main events. And something I've realized that a lot of SM main events I don't think have been that good. So maybe you really want to break it down and look at what are truly the best battles that have main evented Summer Madness. And I have a few other things coming around that might include some SM main events, a couple other categorized, around big event time. I like to do that. I'm going to be doing some of that from Max Out and stuff like that too. But without further ado, let's get into the top 5, my top 5 Summer Madness main events. So starting out at number 5, no honorable mentions for this one because I'm going to be doing, like I said, a few things of content around SM coming up. But I do have Verb versus Calico, headliner of SM10. Now, some of you probably looking at the screen telling me that's not even the headliner. I think a lot of people are under the impression it's K-Shine and Chess. But Verb and Cal, made their talks for it, made their bid, ended up being top of the card and being the headliner for SM10, going down on paper. It follows a pattern that I think many other SM battles do, where one, the namesake meets up always with the SM headliner. You're never going to be like, oh, the names don't meet up for SM headliner. Verb and Cal is a battle that makes 2 humongous names. You could mark it as that King of the Midwest type of crown, right? But it's a lopsided battle, and I feel like that's what you see at a lot of SM main events. I just think this happens to be the one where Verb in the third, especially good in the first and second, fights back a lot more in the third, but I thought Calico clearly took the first 2 rounds versus Verb. One of the better Cal performances, and really why I'm excited to see him in the blue room versus Goods, and just in general in smaller rooms, versus Cal, versus Ill Will, and then versus Verb. The pockets get personified so much, and you really can listen to a lot more what Cal's saying, and that life applicable part of his style, where it's a lot of little life lessons almost trickled into the bars. I think these are the rooms that is emphasized the most, and it is able to hit the hardest to be translated, and a pretty good Verb at that, really pocket-wise. The same, struggling with directness as he does at times, and I feel like that's the difference between him and Cal in this battle. But a really good Calico showing, pretty good Verb showing. Just overall, SM, traditionally you have main events like, Mook and Iron. It's not even a good battle, but that's extremely lopsided. Surf and JC, which was close almost for me making this list, but extremely lopsided. So in history, Hitman and Tayrock, Hollow and John, the list goes on and on, although it's a little bit closer than the other 3. But this kind of follows that same format of, while it's at my number 5, top 5, it is a lopsided battle, and for me is why it falls at number 5. And then getting right into number 4, a battle you could debate is higher quality-wise, but for me, there's a key factor that holds it back if you know me well in this channel, and that is Loaded Hollows versus Guns and Cake, the Summer Impact main event. Probably would have went down as the return with Mook and Calico versus T-Top and Briz, but it did not end up going down that night. Reloaded, people got punched in the face, you know where I'm going with that. But night of, you get Hollow and Lux versus Tayrock and Chess, and like I said, quality thing here, it's a very good battle quality-wise. Lux did choke, I think that's one funny thing that always gets ran over, but a very small thing when you consider the first round from Tayrock and Chess, great. The third round, especially the ISO from Lux, is perfection. Second round, pretty competitive. Chess has the little water. I don't remember the second or the third. The Chess has like the hollow hands in the water, and Chess just like brain freezes. What are you doing? Lux has that joke where they just said it's someone in the crowd talking. It's like, it's a little bizarre, but overall that's kind of the epic of it. There's the good, there's the bad, there's just the chaos. That's what happens with all these great names. Everyone's packing the stage. It's a little too overcrowded. The crowd's cheering for every little bar. A lot of things about it, even for a 2-on-2, with the way I stand on 2-on-2s, kind of lack a competitive feel they had. This one doesn't really lack that, and I can only imagine, man, if Surf didn't get locked up. I believe that's when Surf got locked up, and Free the Wave, by the way, of course. But if Surf was able to make it, and it was gun titles versus loaded hollows, I could only imagine what it would have been. Chess still filled in well, gave a great moment. Same with the shell cases. 2-on-2 could be higher for some people just based off quality because it's a really good battle. But for me, that is the one part that keeps it down at number 4. So moving on into the top 3, and at number 3, not the craziest battle, I think, quality-wise, but huge impact behind it, SM5, Loaded Lux versus Charlie Clips. Really a spectacle when it happened. We can name all the moments of it. Clearly like an important battle. Really any Lux battle is a staple battle at that point. Great SM as well. And I think what you get here is just, you get Lux doing really a great Lux performance. And I think that in general, people say Lux ages back on camera. As a pen, I believe he does too. And some say, but some act like Lux, if you watch it, there's a whole other 3 rounds you didn't see in the fine print. And it's not always like that. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, it's not, I don't think every Lux battle plays back and it's a whole new round, you know what I'm saying? But I do think this is one of those Lux battles that plays back and truly does get better and better with every watch. I think particularly its first round is some real pen heavy shit. And when I say that, I mean he's got a lot of greatness, but it's a lot of substance and real talk and angles, right? And he does it. Some of his conceptual shit is the stuff that is GOAT level stuff in battle rap. Some of the best rounds, like Cal Third, is obviously the textbook example, but some of the greatest real talk rounds you're gonna see. But for him to go more on the pen approach, just kind of punching at him, haymakers, little witty, clever lines you don't catch, really stuck to what you kind of like to see a pen do. I know that sometimes the aura and the grandness, he has a big message, but sometimes you just gotta rap really good and say some clever shit. I like to see him get in that bag, because I feel like for a pen, you still don't really see him get into it that often on that level. But you get a great Clips for first to accompany that. The second round battle goes a little bit haywire, right? Lux is pretty good in the second. Clips is good, but probably jokes a little bit too long. And then the third is it's insanity, you know what I'm saying? The paperwork, Clips as a father is a snitch angle. Clips is being like, well, your father's a snitch too. And really, that's not even good battle rapping, but it created this crazy moment where it's like, what is Clips doing? He's melting down. What did he just say about Lux? Then he dry snitched on Head Ice. It was incredible. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So all the battle qualities in there, like I said, with these SM battles, you're not getting crazy classics for the most part in that main event slot, but there's still a lot of impact here. It still is a good battle, and it really changed the course of one of the greats' careers, one of the better Lux performances, and really Lux wins you're going to see. Personally, I had Lux winning second and the third pretty clear. And like I said, SM, not the craziest. I think maybe some will call it a classic. For me, it doesn't mean a classic because of quality, but just so important and such a key piece of history, landing it at number 3 to the runner-up spot. A battle I did not know was the main event until recently. I was corrected by Hitman himself, as Hitman versus Sue Surf was the main event of the SM4, not Clips versus T-Rex. My bad, Hitman. And with that, for me, is the second best ever. Many people will debate this is number 1. It's closing in on 10 million views, which would be the first 10 million view in URL history, which is insanity. 10 million view battle. But this one right here is just, it's great. If I didn't feel like number 1 was just a little bit better, it has a great argument for it. Hitman's first, absolutely classic. Sue Surf's third, absolutely classic and legendary. The second round, I personally have Surf taking pretty clear. Always had Sue Surf a pretty clear 2-1 in this one, but it's a crazy battle. It's the two biggest faces of the YouTube era for the most part. Free the Wave as always, by the way, which I already said it earlier in the video, but say it again, man. Look at the SM catalog. Great for a lot of the imperfections in Surf's career. The SM and Gnome catalogs is one thing one day we'll get into that I think he's really done good with. But really on the focus here with Hitman and Surf, just great. I'm not gonna talk it to death. We know the classic battles, we know the classic moments, and I'll really have to explain number 1 because this battle is more than worthy of being number 1 in a heavy battle at the runner-up spot. And that does leave us with that number one spot. At number one, if you haven't guessed it already, it is SM6 Hollow Dodon versus Tayrock. In my opinion, really one of the last really all-time great SMs. I think Summer Impact has to be in that conversation because of just how good the battles were. As biased as as much as I try to hate on the 2-on-2s, man, I can't lie. Summer Impact was special, but SM6, especially for like a singles one-on-one Summer Madness, is like one of the last greats in my opinion. And I think it having, in my opinion, the greatest SM main event ever really has to play into that. Hollow versus Tayrock is just a great fucking battle. It's kind of like the top pinnacle of Tayrock's career, in my opinion, too. Obviously, God Tears came after this. For the most part, has a little bit of a strugglesome record. Has some great showings, too. Has some great showings after that versus the New Age GOATs and things of that nature. But with this one, I feel like it's that crowning achievement. You get into the first round. This is the one that's always gotten people, is it's the debatable round. It really what ends up determining the battle, right? Because Tayrock's second is all-time great. So special. No battler is bad in any of these rounds by any means. I don't think one of them out of each of their 3 rounds had a bad round. In the third, like Tayrock's third too, but I thought Hollow clearly takes the third round, right? The remote control bar, fire, iconic quotable. Then you get to the first is what the battle comes down to. I've always felt that Tayrock pretty clearly won the first round versus Hollow. Covered a lot of ground, dropped a lot of haymakers, but Hollow has a very witty round, and aside of a couple really dastardly air balls in the first round. Dastardly, what the fuck? But a couple crazy air balls in the first round. There's really no lows to this battle. It feels as important as it looks on paper. This was the God tier step for Tayrock, his hardest fight up to that point on that SM headliner, and he gets it and he makes the most of it. He brings the best performance of his career to the biggest battle of his career. That's really what makes legends at the end of the day. And then Hollow being the legend that he was and is, holds his ground, and a lot of people do have Hollow up. Good amount of people have Hollow in that battle. Like I said, regardless of the clearness, in my opinion, it goes down as an extremely classic battle, some of the best in both of their catalogs. And for me, that's really what makes it. The lack of flaws and exceeding expectations even is what makes it the best SM main event to me. But that is my full wrap-up of the top 5 SM main events here. Hope that Rock and Av can meet up to that. Even the little bit of critique I gave it earlier about the kind of way it's been promoted, some of the energy towards it, I still think it, pure quality-wise, it has potential to be up here. And as I said, because it hasn't been crazy SM main events for the most part, even many of the ones I had up here were pretty clear. In my opinion, I'd say 3 or 4 of them I chose were pretty clear decisions in general, aside from the 2-on-2. And I just think that's kind of been the trend. So hopefully I'd like to see that change. I'd like to see a great classic back and forth debatable in that main event. But if that's not the case, we'll just see if it's still good enough quality-wise to get up there. But keep that in mind when you're predicting these battles. SM main events historically have been very clear battles, and we'll see if this one plays into that. But I have, like I said earlier, I have other content coming out. Top 5 Summer Madness body bags, as well as a few other top 5s I want to base around there, and switch over to RB. I want to do a little bit. I know Max Out only has 3 battles, but being that, or 3 cards, with really this being the 3rd card, has limited history. But I want to find some way to go in there and give RB its props, because I believe that they pretty clearly have the card of the summer. I'm absolutely shocked and can't wait to see how that one plays out. And then GTX predictions will either be coming out Friday or they will be coming out early next week. Event's obviously pretty close, so ton of things that we're covering here. Thank you guys for being patient with me. As I said, Move was a bitch. We all know what moving is like, so thank y'all for sticking with me here, but I got a lot of content on the way. And y'all comment down below, what is your favorite SM main event? Not necessarily most important. I know that there's a lot up here that are important, a lot of them that are great, but if it's not up here, let me know the ones that you think I missed and your personal favorites. But it's been Jay Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna catch you on the next one, man. Peace.